Well, hello, I didn't notice you there. I feel like Bill Cosby with my stool up here. How y'all doing? Y'all feeling good? I'm so glad. I'm gonna do some raps for y'all. Do y'all like raps? I run through the industry looking for enemies, wanted things to take shape and found symmetry. Now you know the whole game is just friggin' clowns, don't even Lupe Fiasco gotta dumb it down. Switch the spoken word, now they say I changed. But why in the heck would I want to stay the same? I never got the logic of staying in the pocket, new crack backet, ball in the socket. Now someone says I was sensitive, I said thank you, cause Pac wrote poetry, but I'm sure that you're more gangster. So now I'm just out here chilling with a young lady in Barbados. Then I procured 2 chains so the gods feeling like Kratos. Slow rap. Like you're having a chin. My name is Drew Law, I do poems and such. Y'all like poems? Y'all like poems? Is that a fun thing for y'all? No, you don't. You may. I conditioned my hair this morning. I feel really good about that. If y'all are lucky, I might take the hair down. If y'all are lucky, I don't know. They like spent 20 minutes adjusting my microphone perfectly, but I always have to like switch it up. This poem, I'm gonna do my first poem, is about being a chubby kid. Anybody grow up a chubby kid? Right, I grew up a chubby kid. I'm still trying to grow out of that. It's rough. So it's a poem about that, and I'm gonna do some more poems, and then I'm gonna tell you about myself and the conditioner that I use, and then I'm gonna get off stage and watch other people dance, because I don't know how to dance, and I like watching other people do it. They gave me a fancy Kirkland purified drinking water. I asked for all blue M&Ms in my dressing room, and they gave me Kirkland water. Here we go. My whole life, my mother would describe as big boned. But after much of my life searching for a fat skeleton, I realized she was probably making that up. In reality, I was a chubby kid with struggling facial hair. High school was a jungle, and I was a walrus. But the cool kids, the ones with the clear skin and the ball bearings in their hips, they were lions, and I wanted to be just like them. Their paws were swagger-striped Air Force Ones, manes that resembled baseball caps like the Yankees and the White Sox and Giants. And then there was me, the kid that during soccer games always played the fabulous position of goalie. I decided that if I were to be a lion, I would need a mane. I would need a fitted hat. So I started saving up my lunch money, a huge accomplishment for any fat boy. And after 2 weeks, I finally had enough for a fitted hat. So I went to the mall, stepped into the store, growl ready, looking to earn my main hats like the Yankees and White Sox and Giants. And my head was too big to fit any of those hats. But the cashier gave me hope. She went into the back and pulled out a brand new Detroit Tigers hat. The Tigers had lost 96 games that year, a proper metaphor for my life. The next day, I was just a chubby kid with the wrong hat. But what I didn't know is that the tiger is the heaviest of the jungle cats. It is the only member of the big cat family that has no audible roar. It growls at a frequency so low that humans couldn't hear it. Well, that was the problem. These humans just couldn't hear me. I was prowling around the wrong shrubbery, whispering around cats too small for my stripes. Now this is what us chubby boys must do. Now puff out our chest, now make alarms out of our throats, must whisper into the tall grass, gentle but jarring. I mean, who was I kidding? I was no walrus, no lion, but a tiger, scarce and unassuming, the symbol for personal strength, invincibility, and the mascot for the best damn cereal in the game. It is true. A tiger's roar makes no sound, but its low rumble has been known to shock and stir its prey. So to all my chubby kids, do not stay hidden in the brush too long, because you know what? They may not hear you, but they sure as hell gonna feel you. the fact that my brothers from Graffiti DC were supposed to be here today. They couldn't be because my friend Pages, he's at Penn State University, and my other friend George Yamazawa, he's at Princeton University, and I just want to make sure they know that they really missed out on a big show. You know what I'm saying? So make a bunch of noise because I want them to hear it all the way at Penn State and at Princeton. On the count of three, let's make a lot of noise to spite them because I'm mad they didn't come here. So on the count of three, make as much noise as possible. 1, 2, 3. Relax, this is a poetry show, relax. I have a poetry chapbook. It has poems in it, and as opposed to other things. But I'm selling this chapbook. I know some of y'all are broke college students, but I still am selling it for $10. So if you have money and you'd like to exchange it for my goods, I mean the chapbook, I mean, the other stuff is a lot. It costs you a lot more than $10. Please see me after the show. I take cash, I take credit cards. Also, if you want to buy me like a delicious bag of shrimp in exchange for this, or that. This is a poem, a very short poem from my book, and I'm going to read it now. It is called The First Signs of a Rebel. I remember when my second grade teacher said I couldn't eat my gingerbread house. I looked at her like, you and me both know I'm eating this gingerbread house. And that's the poem. I mentioned Graffiti DC earlier. If you want to follow us on Instagram, because sometimes we're handsome, you can follow us on Instagram at Graffiti DC. Graffiti, if you don't know how to spell graffiti, you should be in GW, I guess, but Graffiti DC. No shade to the freshmen who may actually not know how to do that. Freshmen are clapping. He's talking about us, yay! So I think I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna switch up my set. I wasn't gonna do this. I'm gonna do another short poem about my mother. My mother is, she was a very southern woman. She's from southern West Virginia, and if you know anything about southern West Virginia, I don't know why you would know that actually, but she's like very country, and she like came, we like moved to Montgomery County when, when I was like 3 years old, and shout out Malco, where the players play, if you will. And she like knew that I loved hip hop. So she like always wanted to talk to me after school. So what she did, she bought a subscription to Double XL magazine, and would read the entire magazine, and then like be like, hey, Snoop Doggy Dogg, he dropped the doggy dog off last night. That would be her conversation. So this is a very short poem about her, and it's in her voice. I haven't seen my character in the water. Here we go. Sayings, idioms, and phrases is uttered by my mother and repeated by her son, me. Puff Daddy done changed his name. I don't care if he did, I'm still calling him Puffy. Andrew, what's wrong? You look as scared as a cattail in a room full of rocking chairs. Andrew, is that your girlfriend? Andrew, tell your daddy to pick up his damn dirty socks. It smells like Rhinos was having a wrestling match in here. Andrew, is that your girlfriend? Are you gay? Well, I'm just saying if you was, it wouldn't bother me none. Andrew, I see your father in your eyes. And your gravity is the only reason I don't float up to heaven and kiss him right now. Andrew, is that your girlfriend? Yeah, Mom. God, she's beautiful. You're beautiful. That's that. I tend to ramble when I'm on stage, and I don't know how to fit. Someone's still clapping. I don't know. The poem was over. You can stop at that point. I appreciate the enthusiasm. She was like, hey. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to squeeze 2 more poems in chapbook. If you want to follow me, I'm a big Twitter head. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Drew, D-R-E-W, Law, L-A-W. DMV, like Department of Motor Vehicles. That really wasn't supposed to be funny, but I'm on a roll! So there you go. I wrote poems about love and breaking up because it's things that I do. Shout out to those things. So this is a poem about that. And it's not as rah-rah funny, but if you're going through a breakup or have been through a breakup or you're loving somebody and, you know, maybe it'll relate to you. Here we go. In 1966, author Truman Capote famously completed the book In Cold Blood, about two men who brutally murdered a family in Kansas. The process took him an entire 6 years. He was waiting for one of the accused, Perry Smith, a man who he'd become very fond of, a man of art and of literature, to finally admit that it was in fact him who murdered all 5 of those family members in Lenny County. Truman waited 6 years of his life for an answer he already knew. Us humans tend to do this. Love is funny. It will have you gripping nothing but the bottom of your palm. Which brings me here. For the last 6 weeks, I have been writing a breakup poem while still in a relationship. It is not easy. Every morning I wake up with the words, "Fight for her," tattooed across my collarbone because the day that I saw her, well, there she stood, all tourniquet and soul food, defibrillator and eyeliner, saw me all orphan and wayside God, the way she smiled with her dimples and her palm like a fresco of frozen honey. This will become far too emotional, so I created a timeline. January 5th, you said it tingles when I kiss you. January 9th, you wrote in your journal about the way my eyes look different when I do poetry. January 14th, you tingled a lot. February 1st, this is where the poem gets sad. Okay. February 1st, you didn't respond to my text message. February 3rd, you said you were with your cousin, but your Twitter said different. February 7th, that is not my cologne. February 9th, we talked about Valentine's Day. February 10th, we talked about Valentine's Day. February 13th, we talked about Valentine's Day. February 14th, let's just say there was a lot of salmon and sunflowers left. February 27th, I listened to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill 30 freaking times. March 30th, I decided to break up with you. March 7th, it is absurd how one sweet text can crumble your wall of closure. Beware the Ides of March. Pretty girls who make a theater of Pompeii out of anything. When Perry Smith was to be hanged, he prepared a meticulously, carefully written statement. He forgot it when he stood upon the gallows. So when you see me, say nothing. Redemption is far too rare in this life. I read somewhere where girls wear makeup around their eyes to protect their true emotions. That's why I never saw the serial killer in your stare. I wrote this March 20th, the day I broke up with the woman I was falling in love with. There is no uplift here. No motivational epiphany. We tend to make a production of breakups like a hailstorm of catastrophe when they're just another hopscotch board washed away by thunderstorms. Sometimes it just ends in a pen of mistakes and lust, ink and tears, and instead of finishing that 6-year manuscript, sometimes you just have to close your book. I'm waiting for someone to kick me off the stage. I have one poem left. It is a brand new poem. I am a big my man over here, newish. I don't know how much I'm supposed to curse, so I'm not going to do that. I'm getting red up here. Is it hot? I'm a big fan of sports. I love sports. I love what it can do competitively, and I'm a big Washington Redskin fan. And there's always I wait to see like, boo, yeah, kind of mix or whatever, but I wrote a poem and I feel very strongly about a certain thing, and I don't want to talk about that. And like I said, it's a brand new poem. I've actually never read it to anybody except my friends at my house smoking hookah in my underwear. So you will be the first audience to hear it, and thank you. And I wanted to make sure that I just didn't do the same old things that everyone keeps hearing. You know, I want to always challenge myself as an artist. And this is my last poem, and I can't wait to see the rest of everything that's going on. Thank you guys so much. Give it up for yourselves one time. Thank you so much. sometimes I don't know what to do with it, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure I take all the love in that you guys will give it and try and give you some back. And a quick poem. Chapbook is available. Follow me on Twitter. Hug me outside. Buy me some jelly beans. I'm into all those things. Also, jelly beans. Y'all can let the buttered popcorn flavor go. Just let it go. Okay, poem. With the second pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Robert Griffin III. Pause for crowd reaction. All-American, Heisman Trophy Award winner, Rookie of the Year, and Subway frontman, and all-around great guy. A black quarterback returns to Chocolate City. The memory of Gus Frerotte, Jeff George, and John Beck will no longer haunt water cooler conversations with Cowboy fans. On a personal note, I will no longer have to throw darts at my pictures of Albert Hainsworth. I can finally take the needles out of my Des Bryant voodoo doll, and no need to call off work following division losses. Robert, now in your third year, will you answer the call from your city? Do you recognize the names around FedEx Field? Darrell Green, Sammy Baugh, Sean Taylor, Doug Williams. Did you know he was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl? Of course you did. Did you also know that when he came into the league, he was the only starting quarterback of color? That he led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to their first ever playoffs? Did you also know he had the lowest salary for any starting quarterback in the league and 12 behind backups? Robert, do you know Bobby Mitchell? Do you know George Preston, who in 1932 founded the Washington Redskins? His name stamped at FedEx Field Stadium as well as Canton in the Hall of Fame. Did you know he was dubbed the leading racist in the NFL? That the Redskins were the last team to sign a black player 16 years after the league had already been integrated, and that when they did, in 1962, it was the mandate of the government that made them do it? Did you know George Preston said, "We'll start signing Negroes when the Harlem Globetrotters start signing whites"? This is not a pop poem. This is our city's legacy. Chocolate City with scalps for hats. Daniel Snyder, now owner of the team, said, "I believe now, more firmly, that our team name captures the best of who we are. It honors the deep and enduring values our name represents." God, what an American tradition. Paying homage to the people we have killed by putting them on the people we oppress. Dear RG3, you said you never wanted to be defined by your color, that you wanted to be defined by your work ethic, the person that you are, and your character. Will you now let your team be defined by its skin, by its silence? What would George Preston say about your Caucasian wife? Would he flinch when you whistle at her? In the 2015 draft, the Washington Redskins select a player that will be defined by the skin on his helmet. How often will we back into progression slowly? Use the excuse that everyone is too sensitive. But hail victory. Hail tradition. Hail the status quo. Dear RG3, what will you be defined by next? Your Pro Bowls, your charities, or your silence? Thank you very much.